Huh. Someone shoved something under the door. I can help you prove your innocence because I believe in your innocence. But I have to be able to trust you too. We can't meet yet, which is why I'm just gonna send you clues. If you want to take up my offer, then you'll find the first lead at your father's grave. Huh, that's a bit confusing. Who's this message from? Murray? He doesn't have an interest in proving my innocence. And anyway, he would just tell me himself. But who else knows I'm living here in the hotel? I need to follow this up carefully. And I ought to find out where the graveyard is around here. Hi, Murray.
Oh, the esteemed Mr. Michaels. What's on your mind?
Murray, do you know where the local graveyard is?
A graveyard? Didn't you want to take a rest?
I'm not up for resting anymore.
I'm sure you can't mean the graveyard behind the hotel. It's being redone right now.
It's being what?
I've had it removed for the time being so I can relocate it in a sensational new setting. It means I can charge more for some of the rooms with views over the Gordon graveyard.
You've had the Gordon family graves leveled?
To be quite honest, there was only Lothar Gordon's grave there, the founder of the original sanatorium. The family crypt is in the churchyard at Wormhill.
Ah, right. In Warm Hill, then. The woods around Willow Creek are pretty gloomy.
The woods are quite exceptional, I'll have you know. Full of ghosts and demons, if you like to believe the local folklore. The perfect backdrop for all of the grisly murders that have happened here and are, regrettably, yet to come.
You can hardly wait, right?
I've lived here long enough to know that patience is a virtue.
Why don't you go out and kill a few people yourself if you're so hot on it all?
I'm a businessman, not a murderer. A small but absolutely fine distinction, Mr. Michaels.
Is this note here from you?
Pardon? No, I speak to my guests personally when I've got something for them.
Was there anyone here asking for me earlier?
No, you're simply not well known enough. That'll soon change, believe me.
See you, Murray.
Back to work.
Doctor?
How can I help you?
What can you tell me about Warm Hill?
Well, not a lot, really. It's a little hamlet that belongs to Willow Creek. There are only a few people living there. Most of the houses are falling apart. I think it's where all the miners used to live.
Can you tell me where the graveyard is here in Willow Creek?
You'll have to go to Warm Hill. The graveyard's there.
Catch you later.
Take care.
Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Darren.
The waiter, Edward, is he pleased that you're helping her as well?
He'd send me away, but I always came back. Then he said that if I make myself useful, I can stay. I'm not allowed to just sit and stare at Denise, because people would get scared of me. I don't like it if people are scared of me.
I don't like that either.
Edward said as well that if I touch a cake, then I'll have to eat it. And they don't give me coffee anymore because it makes me ill.
I'd better be going.
Okay, Darren.
How you doing?
Wonderfully. What can I do for you, sir?
You and Denise are engaged.
Yes. Our families have been friends for generations. We spent our childhood together, and we will spend the rest of our lives together, God willing.
God willing. And you? Is that what you want?
Of course. Denise's father has already made me manager of the cafe.
Well, that's certainly a reason.
It's a huge responsibility, but waiting tables means a lot to me. It gives me great joy to serve our customers.
Let me guess. You'd rather have become a butler.
Indeed, sir. But the position in the castle was already taken. Besides, Denise's father needed a successor for his business.
You actually wanted to work in Blackmere Castle?
Yes, sir. But her ladyship chose Sally instead of me. I still don't understand why.
Sally lost her life in the fire. You should be happy you didn't get the job.
Perhaps, sir, if you say so.
I'd better be going.
Please do us the honor again soon, sir.
I don't want to disturb her from doing nothing any longer. And anyway, I don't know anyone who does nothing as beautifully as Denise. Do you have a moment, Inspector?
Of your quirk.
What do you know about Warm Hill?
Warm Hill. The only village in England that's even smaller than Willow Creek. It's pretty much just a church and a load of corpses, some under the ground and some walking around on top of it.
Perhaps you can tell me where the nearest graveyard is?
Do you want to pay your victims a visit? Try Warm Hill.
That's all for now.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
to the map, this stream's called Old Wansford. It's really overgrown back there. And foggy, too. It wouldn't surprise me if some undead ghouls suddenly started staggering about. Why should I go into the middle of the woods? There might be bells behind the slats. In that case, they are small auxiliary bell towers. Ancient headstones. It looks like the design hasn't changed in hundreds of years. That's quite a recent grave. There are even a few flowers still lying on it. That's quite a recent grave. There are even a few flowers still lying on it. That's quite a recent grave. Gravestones without names. Gravestones without names. This certainly isn't a well-groomed graveyard. Most of the graves are overgrown with twining weeds and roots. That's the Gordon family crypt. The musty skeletons of my ancestors are just behind this door. I'm not interested in paying them a family visit. That's William Gordon's grave, my great-grandfather. He died in August 1981. No idea why he wasn't buried in the family crypt. That's William Gordon's grave, my great-grand. There are some phrases from the Bible engraved in this. Behold the Lamb of God that taketh away the sin of the world, says John 1 verse 29. For to me to live is Christ and to die is gain, says Philip, also 1 verse 21. For many are called, but few are chosen, Matthew, blah blah blah. The Lord is with me, I will not be afraid. Psalms 118, verse 6. There are some phrases. Behold the Lamb, for to me, for many are called. Bare wooden pews. Very inviting. They really make you want to kneel down and pray. A huge stained glass window for optimum illumination. Who's that? That doesn't look like the priest. Hey, you there. Good morning.
What the? Oh, I'm sorry, lad. I must have nodded off.
In the confession box?
The bench has a cushion on it, at least.
You're not the priest, are you?
God forbid. I'm Mark, the grave digger.
You must have a lot to do around here, being the grave digger.
Oh, that's right. My job here is quite secure.
Can you tell me anything about the church?
What do you mean then, lad? Who built it? It certainly wasn't me, even if I might look that old. Must have been around the time Marcus Gordon was alive. Have you seen the dark part of the tower up there?
Yes.
He ran out of stone, and they say he took stones from his castle walls to finish it off. Demolished his own castle to finish the church.
A model Christian.
Perhaps his time was running out. Got himself buried in there in the end.
A crypt that's 100 feet tall with an altar and a bell tower, all for him alone. What a modest man.
All those toffs are. No, he treated himself to an extra crypt underneath the nave. But it caved in 12 years ago. Nobody can get in there anymore.
Do you know Wormhill well?
Of course, but it's just a few houses on the back of the woods. There's more life in here, I tell you. Are you looking for something in particular?
No, I'm just trying to get an idea of the place.
Looking around this graveyard will give you a better idea of the place. And should you want to reserve yourself a spot here, then let me know. I recommend the southern slope. That's the best location.
Thanks for the tip, but I'm in no hurry to die just yet.
But maybe death's in a hurry to come and get you.
What is it you actually do all day?
Answer stupid questions.
I mean, digging graves can't be all you do.
Yeah, you're right, lad. I don't just dig. I repair things too, keep the church in order, guard the graves. And if you think that the weeds grow on their own around here, then think again. It ain't weeds, and it don't grow on its own. But who's interested anyway?
What did you mean by that? You guard the graves?
Well, because of the clientele. So they don't get dug up. By dogs and the like.
Which dogs?
Well, strays from around here. For them, a graveyard is like
An underground hot dog stand?
Yeah, exactly. With bloody tough sausages.
It's quite a woody area.
That's also supposed to be the reason it's such a bloody area.
The evil of the woods? People around here read too many horror stories.
Or have experienced it themselves. Have you been in the woods here at night?
No.
They say there's plenty to see. Murderous lords of the castle. The undead. Mordred's voracious hellhounds. There are many stories about it. Probably as many stories as there are people here.
The woods around Willow Creek strike me as being particularly creepy.
Yes, and the number of wild boars in there is uncanny. I've known them to trample down my fences to get at the clientele. But I've got some crafty traps set up. I'm looking forward to having a roast. The priest gave his permission.
There's a fresh grave in front of the church.
That'll be Sally's, the young cook from the castle. The poor thing was burned to death, just like old Bates. The fire didn't really make any difference. But Bates isn't here. Lady Victoria insisted on burying him in the Golden Crypt, like a member of the family.
Just like Lady Eleanor, I assume.
Yes, there's still plenty of space in the crypt. Lots of the Gordons haven't been buried there.
Why not?
Well, there are just too many murderers and suicides. They're frowned upon in Catholic graveyards, particularly the ones who commit suicide.
Why? What happens to them?
Well, they're buried anonymously, without any religious ceremony, without the ringing of the bells, without any prayers, without a priest, nothing. They're all buried before sunrise, over by the north wall.
Isn't that what they used to do hundreds of years ago?
Perhaps where you come from. But we're in Warmhill, the manor of Black Mirror Castle. Things are all a bit different around here, my lad.
You don't happen to know, being the gravedigger and all, where Samuel Gordon's grave is? He must have been buried in 1981.
That's a tough one, lad. So many people died here 12 years ago, good and evil alike, in the strangest of circumstances. I really can't remember who ended up where. You'd be better off talking to Father Frederick, the priest. Perhaps he can remember.
Where would I find the priest then?
Today? Well, you won't find him at all. He left around midday. Some conference or other. Supposed to be back by noon tomorrow, though.
I'd better be going.
Keep your eyes peeled, lad.
Oh, is it that late already? The wall has collapsed right in the middle without having a demolition ball taken to it. It takes a few hundred years for that kind of thing to happen. Locked. That's probably the priest's house back there. Locked. That's probably the priest's house back there. Those must be wild boars. There's supposed to be plenty of them around here. Or demonic hellhounds, as they say in the local fables. Whoa! I better get out of here fast if I don't want to get mauled. calm before the storm, I think I better wait until those beasts have lost their appetite. What the hell? Nothing more to see. Nothing more to see. A box that's just rotting away. Don't want to know what's in that. Oh well, let's take a look then. Damn it, locked. That almost looks the same as the shredder in the museum. There's something lying in it. It's soft, damp, and cold. Yuck. No thanks. I don't really want to know what's died in there. A rusty old garden implement. An old bucket. Oh, I hope that isn't the toilet. An oil lamp. Doesn't seem all that old. Maybe it still works. An oil lamp. Doesn't seem all that old. Maybe it still works. A file. Huh. The escape tool of choice. In the comics, at least. I'm guessing that's paint thinners or gasoline for cleaning stuff. Ugh, smells something like that at least. I think there's still enough oil in it. No need for a refill. Ah, that's better. I can see now. A peculiar shadow. I think I know where that mysterious shadow's coming from. Well, how about that? And so the key falls into my possession. A couple of luminous smiley stickers. Whoever lives here must be scared of the dark. Damn, don't say somebody lives here. There's something lying under the bed, but I can't get at it. Gotcha. I've got what I wanted. fits. As I thought, full of junk. So let's have a look. Damn! That looks like one of the robes and the masks from the order that was after me. Huh. But at the same time, it's also proof that the order existed. I'll take it with me. There's some paper in the robe. Seems to be a letter to the order. Quite badly torn. Unable to stop the evil, already sacrificed. His objective, or something happens to me. No trace is to be... I'm not completely certain, but it appears to be a request to cover up all traces of the order. That would explain why the robe is in the shack. I'll put it back. Perhaps I'll find something useful after all. A corkscrew and a yardstick. They look in reasonable shape. I'll take them. Whoa, a chainsaw. I've got a feeling that this baby's gonna come in handy. A cardboard box. Somebody scribbled something on the lid. I can't decipher it. The word definitely begins with an R, though. Let's take a look inside. A rag doll. Pretty ugly and worn out. I recognize it. I've seen it before. It was Ralph's. Yep, that's his doll. Mr. Bubby, or whatever he called it. Strange. How'd it get here? And why has Ralph left it? He never used to go anywhere without it. What else have we got? A luminous sticker with a smiley on it. And a cork from a bottle. This must be Ralph's shack. Or his hideaway. Alone in a shack in the woods, in the night, with a chainsaw in my hand. If my father could see me now, I'm sure he'd be so proud. Unlucky. Tank's empty. The tank's just about half full. Hopefully that'll be enough. I filled up the chainsaw, but the tank's lid is missing. I don't think it's a good idea to start it up as it is. Alright, that ought to hold. Now we can get going. Another door. Let's see now. Was kinda obvious. There's storage behind it for logs. It stretches right to the door. There's no getting through here. The floorboards here sure creak loudly. The rotten boards shouldn't be a problem for the saw, but I ought to check what's underneath them first. Interesting. There's at least half a meter of space below the boards. The shack must have been built on stilts. The next time I'm being pursued by hellhounds and hide in a shack, I'll look out for that as I go in. I'll just cut myself a trapdoor in the floor. It can also be closed again in an emergency. sneak outside through the hole. Good. Let's try it. I'm better leaving the heavy junk here. Good. No wild beasts for miles. Weird. No tracks. The beasties couldn't have just disappeared into thin air. No!
Describe what you saw.
I saw myself as a child. I was playing with my sister in the woods. It's not far away from the castle. I could see it behind the trees. There was a man there, too.
Could you make out who it is?
No, he had his back to me. But something very bad has happened.
What's happened?
My sister, she's fallen in a hole. She's screaming. What should I do?
Adrian, you're not there anymore. Remember what you did at the time.
I ran to the hole, and I don't know. I can't remember. You woke me up before I could help her.
I didn't wake you up, Adrian. You woke up of your own accord. It would appear everything in you is trying to fend off this memory. Seems you really want to suppress it.
Or I just can't remember.
The memory is still there. You just need to let it happen.
It's easy for you to say.
Perhaps you should tackle this memory in a conscious state. Try and find the place in the woods that you saw. You need an anchor in the present.
If you say so.
And with regards to the hallucinations, I've ordered a medication. It should help to suppress them.
Very good. I'll take it. At least you can rely on conventional medicine.
Please take this prescription and give it to a buyer in the shop. She'll give you the medication.
Oh, she's a pharmacist too?
In a little village like this, everyone has more than one role.